on this glorious day? Do you feel good? It's a new year. How are we feeling? Welcome to Unity of Tucson. I'm Dr. Jonathan Zenz. I'm the senior minister here at this glorious spiritual center where we gather every Sunday to celebrate the good. And that's what we're going to do today. So shall we celebrate the good? All right. Woo, yeah. Oh my gosh, I got to catch my breath. Okay, so now I'm going to tell the truth. So many years ago on the Golden Globe Awards, there was an actress who was announced as the winner of an award, and she was in the washroom. Literally, you started playing, I was in the washroom. Okay, here we go. If it could be that we agreed to live in harmony and set aside all that divides for the sake of humanity, would you say yes? Yes, yes, yes. If it could be that we agreed to meet on common ground, plant a tree and spread the fruit of love all around, would you say yes? Yes, yes, yes. Come on, everybody, sing with me. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. If you believe in you and me, say yes, yes, yes. If you believe like I believe, we can make a better world. Listen to each other till every voice is heard. Would you say yes? Yes, yes, yes. What would you say if we found a way to end all poverty so we could live with dignity from sea to shining sea? Would you say yes? Come on, everybody, sing with me. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. If you believe in you and me, say yes, yes, yes. Come on, everybody, sing with me. Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, yes, yes, yes. If you believe in you and me, say yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Everybody sing. Yes, yes, yes. If you believe in you and me, say yes, yes, yes. Oh, new song, new year. Yeah, I love that. So once again, good morning. Welcome to Unity of Tucson. Woo! I'm so delighted to share in this time with you and to gather together in spiritual community, which is what we truly are all about. I love to look out on this magnificent group of individuals, see the sea of faces, and see the face of God in every single person I encounter. That's what I choose to enjoy in my life. You get to decide what you want to enjoy in your life. But here's a recommendation. What if you were to go around and look and just see the face of God in everyone you encounter? What if that was your choice? Yes, right? How would that change our experience of life? Because I'll tell you, it fundamentally has transformed my experience of life to know that God is in the face of every single person I see. And everyone I encounter is a reflection of an inherent divine nature that is who I am and is who we all are. So, yes. We do have a vision and a mission here at Unity of Tucson. I would love for us as a community to state out loud. Let's say this together, the words of our vision statement, first of all. We envision a world awakened to its magnificence. And the vision is a manner in which we may choose to see the world. The mission are steps that we can apply in our lives to allow that vision to come into expression. And so I would love for us collectively to say out loud these words of our mission statement. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Just taking in a breath and allowing ourselves to be awash with what those words mean on a fundamental level. You know, we do say those words every single week, and the encouragement is to not just allow them to be rote, to not just allow them to be a recitation, but to really tune into what does it mean in our lives to love only, to forgive everything, and to remember who you are. Just taking in a breath. Love only, forgive everything. Remember who you are. want to acknowledge this morning just a moment of gratitude for this community and for the ways that we gather together in spiritual community in support of the larger community. I don't know how many blankets and jackets and things we collected and delivered, but we had the Share the Warmth campaign last month to collect blankets and jackets and warm things to deliver to Sister Jose's Women's Shelter, and we did that, and I think there had to have been 30 or 40 blankets, and I mean, it was a really successful event, and I'm so grateful to this community for supporting that event, and to everyone who made that happen. And William, thank you so much for your participation in that. I'm deeply grateful for that. Yeah. I want to say hello to everyone who's watching online. You know, we have 30 to 40 people who watch live online every single week, and I just want to have a quick shout out to you and say hello, grateful that you've decided to join us on this glorious day. And if you're joining us for the first time today online, a special welcome to you. If you go to unitytucson.com/connect, you can fill out some information there, and we can allow this conversation to continue to unfold. And thank you once again for making your presence known here and allowing us to feel your energy. If you're in the room for the first time today, I want to acknowledge and say hello to you especially. As you were coming in, you may have been invited to receive a gift, and if you did not receive that gift, it is available at the completion of today's celebration. They'll be in Harmony Hall, which is our social hall just on the other side of that wall. So please do grab a gift when the service is complete, but there's something else that we always like to share with those who are here visiting for the first time. And so if you are comfortable, and that's always the caveat I offer, if you are comfortable with identifying yourself as someone here for the first time, would you please either stand up or raise your hand? Is there anyone joining us for the first time today? Welcome. Grateful to see you. Grateful to welcome you to our community. What a blessing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this is what we would like to share with you, shall we? You are magnificent. Yes, you are. So grateful that you're shining your light and sharing your magnificence with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we claim to know that about you. We claim to know that about you because one of the things that we teach here in New Thought is that every single person we encounter is fundamentally a reflection of something inherent in each of us. And so as we choose to know your magnificence, well, I like to think it's a reflection of our own magnificence. So I think that we should all, every single one of us, if you're online, I want you to say this. Every single one of us should say this together, shall we? I am magnificent. How does that feel? Great. Yeah, let's do it again. I am magnificent. What a magnificent, magnificent way to celebrate. Ooh. All right, now many of you know, and I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, I'm celebrating a little extra today because today is my 53rd birthday. And I say that as sort of an introduction because there was someone who's on the stage who was there 53 years ago who... And she is one of our keepers of the flames who is going to help us in the Flames of Faith ceremony, which we've adopted here to acknowledge that all religions are born out of the same idea, that we are all founded in and grounded in love. And so, two of our keepers of the flames to guide us in the ceremony today are Deb Benson and that woman who was there 53 years ago, my mother, Lynn Peterson. Thank you.
Good morning. We light a candle honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of surrender to divine love as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual truths, principles, both. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them, and for all faith traditions unnamed in this ceremony. This final candle is the healing candle. It represents the revealing of the divinity at the core of all experiences. This is your candle for whatever is in your mind and heart that requires the light.
Thank you, Deb. Thanks, Mom. There's something that I'm going to do that's a little different today. During the Iran-Iraq war, and there seems to be something that feels a little present for me, considering what's happened in the last couple days. But during the Iran-Iraq war, there were people in Kansas City, Missouri, who would gather each weekend at the Kansas City Plaza in protest of that war. And there was at least one person who thought that something beyond protest was needed. You know, fundamental to what we teach in New Thought is that action, forward-moving action, and to be active and not necessarily reactive, but to be proactive in life is a path that leads to harmony and wholeness. So there's this person who thought that something more than protest was needed. That something was prayer and encouragement. And so they had an idea. And that idea was to create a quilt. This quilt that now hangs on our wall was her answer to that. It was made by our very own Joyce Hawley. And yeah. And what she did is she took white squares of fabric out to the protest and had people write words of encouragement and expressions for peace on those, and then she incorporated them into this quilt. So what was written there, what's written there is what was written on that Sunday afternoon in 2006. Now, we put the peace quilt up when we arranged our decor for the holiday season, but one of the things I wanted to acknowledge is that that peace quilt is now going to remain on the stage, even when we take the rest of the holiday decor down, because that peace quilt has been gifted by Joyce and her brothers, David and John Hawley, who are also here today, I believe. There they are. It has been gifted by them to Unity of Tucson in memory and in honor of their mother, Marion Hawley Beasley, who made her transition October 16th, 2016, but was a very active member of this community. So I want to say thank you so much for honoring and blessing this community with that gift in honor and in memory of your mother. Thank you so much. You are a blessing to us. And I think that it is a beautiful companion for the peace candle, which we keep consistently illuminated as a reflection of a consistent illumination of peace within each and every one of us, and especially in times like now, like right now. The peace that we share with this world, that inner peace that informs every action, every activity, every thought, every relationship, our inner peace expressed is allowing the entire world to be more peaceful. And it begins right where each and every one of us is. So let us please honor that understanding by sharing together this prayer for world peace. Divine love indwells each person and radiates from one to another. Harmony is established and peace reigns in the world. Let's just take an opportunity to relax right where we are. As we acknowledge the principles of our vision and mission through music, rooted in the awareness of the one power, the one presence, the one divine source, rooted in the awareness of God, right here, right now.
Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now.
I invite each of us to find the words, the thoughts, or the silence that I'm speaking, which you find most truly resonates in your heart. Love only. Only is the key word, for love is ineffable. Many people have tried to define it and describe it, but it is within reach. It is in my heart. And I believe it is in the hearts of each and every one of us. And you get to decide what you believe. We are always at choice, including how we love. Remembering who we are, God's greatest gift. Each one of us an individualized expression of this beautiful magnificence that we call us. There is no separation, for the infinite is present everywhere. There is no place that the infinite is not. Right now, I am feeling it most strongly in my heart. For in this moment, I am loving only. And in doing so, I am forgiving. This understanding brings such a deep peace to me. I don't have to figure it out. I simply breathe and live and express as love. Also, when I am in this space, I am me fully. I am calm. I'm rational. My perceptions are clear. And I am not reactive. I love my life. And my life is what it is because I have chosen each and every day to create what I wish to see in the world. My gratitude is deep, very deep. I am delighted to be sharing these words with you today. I invite you to take a breath in and out and celebrate in this breath that you've been given. Celebrate with me. Thank you. And I release these words as law by saying, and so it is. Amen.
Love only, forgive everything. Remember who you are. Love only, forgive everything. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Remember who you are.
Thank you. It is always a delight when our prayer chaplains share. That beautiful prayer, of course, was by one of our glorious prayer chaplains, Beryl Varno, who is here also to guide us by providing a reading and guiding us in our new monthly affirmation. Please welcome Beryl Varno.
Thank you. Good morning. I have chosen a poem from a poet that I read one of her poems last year sometime. It was called The Worst Thing We Did by Shalane Harkin. I'm going to set this poem up. There's going to be some language in it that we don't use in New Thought. But that is precisely why I chose it, because if you listen carefully to the poem, you will realize that she's giving you an invitation to look deeper. The name of the poem is Eccentric God. Now, I love words, and I love looking up definitions. The word eccentric means unconventional and slightly strange. If you think the eccentric God who made the octopus is going to judge you for your sins, I'm afraid you've missed the mark. If you think this wild God that spins galaxies as a pastime cares to get fussy about your mistakes, or has ever made anything that wasn't born perfect and luminous, you might need to repent. If you can't yet admit how lovable and infinitely worthy the fullness of your human nature is, and if you think God wants to do anything but perpetually pour the abundance of love gifts upon you, well, my dear, your soul just might need to go to confession. Thank you. We have a new affirmation this month. And how it's going to work is I'm going to say it once, and then you are going to join me by saying it 2 times in a row. But let's let that first time through when I'm saying it, just let it sink in for a minute. My vision of the world reflects my inner beliefs. And with me? My vision of the world reflects my inner beliefs. And again, my vision of the world reflects my inner beliefs. Thank you.
I love that. I loved that poem. Thank you for sharing that, Beryl. And I love our singer, so deeply. I'm so grateful that she has made her way to this community and joins us pretty much every week. And boy, this is a song that she sang last year, and I'm so delighted that she said, I want to sing this song again. So please welcome with today's featured song, Erin Anderson.
There's an old friend that I once heard say something that touched my heart, and it began this way. I was born by the river in a little tent, and just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know my change is gonna come. Ooh, yeah. He said it's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I might not be if I knew what was up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, hey, but I know my change is gonna come. Ooh, yeah. I went to my brother, and I said, brother, can you help me, please? He said, good sister, well, I'd like to, but I'm not able. And when I looked around, I was right back down on bended knee. There's been times I thought I wouldn't last for long, but somehow, right now, I believe I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know my change is gonna come. Well, I know. I know.
Erin Anderson. Woo, yeah. There seems to be an interesting thematic theme happening here today, which I am deeply grateful for. The only thing that we can truly count on is that nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same. We're in a constant state of evolution. We're in a constant state of change. We're in a constant state of unfoldment. The entire universe is in a constant state of continued unfoldment. It never ceases, ever, ever, ever. And that is the nature, at least in the way that we teach it within the New Thought paradigm, within Unity, it is the nature of God. It is the nature of the divine to constantly, constantly be flowing forth into expression. And that expression is always unique, and it is always whole, and it is always blessed, even when it doesn't feel like it, or even when it seems like the circumstances of the world do not support that idea. What if we truly got behind the notion that change is good? You know? And I say that because in our culture, in our society, in many ways, we are taught to fear change. We want to keep things the way that they are because to live within the realm of the known feels comfortable, doesn't it? Something you can count on. It's something you can count on. Well, perhaps if we were to let go of this notion that we have to hold on to the known because it's something that we can count on, we can understand that if we count on a principle that says yes to life, yes to love, that says yes to each and every one of us being the luminous lights that we inherently are, that there is nothing we ever have to fear. That's how I'm choosing to live my life. That's a vision that I hold for myself. And I invite this community into that vision. That vision. And this whole month, the theme is vision. How are we choosing to see the world? How are we choosing to understand our relationship to everything that's in our sphere of awareness? And are we willing to also allow something in the realm of awareness to come through that is below the level of awareness, that may be showing up in our lives in adverse ways? And I want to say that there's stuff that may be showing up in life in adverse ways, but it all is right at the core of who we fundamentally are, and we have the capacity to address it and to change it. So not only is God flowing forth as infinite evolution and as infinite change, but we are the creators of change in our own lives. And it's all rooted in a fundamental principle. God is all there is. God is all there is. This week's message is I have to give a talk title every week because it goes out in an email. It's part of a marketing strategy, so, it can be an enticement. Oh, what is he going to talk about this week? And this week's talk title is First Things First. And yes, first things first, because, it seems appropriate. The first Sunday of the year, we can talk about, beginnings. We can talk about fundamentals. We can talk about where we begin. And it is, because it is the first Sunday of the year, I like to take the first several Sundays actually, and root ourselves in the basics as reminders of where this philosophy is grounded. Now, this is a practice that I began back when I was still a religious science minister through Centers for Spiritual Living, because traditionally in those communities, and the Center for Spiritual Living may be over there in room 4 right now, doing this very thing where they are looking at the first 4 parts of the introduction to the book, The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, which is the fundamental text from which all of the science of mind flows forth. Now, the very first section of that is called The Thing Itself. And I'm going to be talking about the thing itself. And it's a funny thing, because I'm not actually going to focus on Ernest Holmes. They get a little bit of it. But the thing itself is asking, what is this thing? What is this thing? If I say first, and that language is traditionally Ernest Holmes, here's the thing. We are all in New Thought teaching the same thing. We are all teaching the thing itself. Ernest Holmes offered this up. To suppose that the creative intelligence of the universe, that's God, by the way, just in case you were not clear. God is the creative intelligence of the universe. To suppose that the creative intelligence of the universe would create us in bondage and leave us bound would be to dishonor the creative power. That's why I say, fundamentally, everything is always changing. And if we are resistant to change, that's not God, something out there holding back the evolution and the change from within each and every one of us. It is us resisting change. We are the ones who bind ourselves within that. To suppose that the creative intelligence of the universe would create us in bondage and leave us bound would be to dishonor that creative power which we call God. The first principle within unity is God is all there is. God is all there is. And I frequently say, and I think sometimes, I say it every week. I say it every week, and sometimes I think it kind of blows past people's awareness. But I want to get really clear and really invite you to hear this, perhaps as though you're hearing it for the first time. When I take my glasses off, it's really important. If God is all there is, who are we? Well, I would say that is the answer. We are God. Now, see, because then people get a little bristly around that. Those people are saying they're God? Yes. However, what we are not saying, this is not what we mean when we say this. We are not saying we are the allness of God. No, we're saying that there is an infinite power, an infinite presence, an infinite creative intelligence. There is an infinite source from which all flows forth, and we are fundamentally part of that. We cannot be separate from the infinite, because you've heard me say this a million times. If we were separate from the infinite, then the infinite could not be infinite. That, to me, is just logic. Because if the infinite is infinite, and there's something separate from it, then the infinite is finite, and that thing separate from it is finite. There is no finite. We are the magnificence of the divine flowing forth in form. That is fundamentally what we teach. God is all there is. And we refer to God in many, 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 many different ways. We say creative intelligence of the universe. We say universal source. We say the one. We say infinite wholeness. One of the magnificent ways that we refer to the divine is to use this language. It is infinite mind. Now, when I talk about mind, I'm not talking about the brain. What I believe, you get to decide what you believe. But what I believe is that the brain is like a radio transmitter receiver of infinite mind. That it is a tool, a physical tool, that is a conduit between infinite mind and our expression of that infinite mind as individualized mind. So I know, right? Mind. Whoo, he's getting real deep in it. Infinite mind and individualized mind are not separate things. They are facets of one thing. We are each and every one of us facets of God. If you think of God as a jewel, like a diamond, and a beautiful diamond has been cut, and all those facets, the faces of the diamond, allow it to shine forth and glitter. We are those facets. We are the way that God gets to glitter. Charles Fillmore had this to offer in defining mind. Mind is the starting point of every act and thought and feeling, the common meeting ground of God and humankind. Mind is the conduit that is flowing forth in and as expression. And that's how I choose to understand my place in this thing called life. Because if we're really going to the foundation of the teaching, first things first, to know that God is all there is the base, the foundation upon which everything else is built. Everything else must be grounded in that basis. When we speak of mind, when you hear the word mind from up here, we are speaking of God. You used a word today, which is one of my favorite words, ineffable. Ineffable is one of my favorite words because it is a word that is used to describe something that cannot be described with words. God is ineffable. And the very notion that we have words to try to describe this ineffable, infinite power and presence The minute we try to give a thought to it, we've actually limited it. And it is beyond those limitations. That's the nature of God. So when we speak of mind, we are speaking of God, and it's just synonyms, just like love is a synonym for God. God is the universal principle from which all expression arises. All of it. You are an expression of the Most High. And it is a universal principle that has invited your expression into being. But then I have to ask the question, if I'm utilizing the word expression, what does that mean? What is expression? Expression, for me, is the manner in which God is showing up. That's it. It's as simple as that. You know, the thing is, this philosophy, at least to me, is really simple. It's really simple. And then I joke, and Beryl, I think you like this joke because you use this with me a lot. The joke for me is that ministers love to say in 100 words what they can say in just a few. If I do nothing else today, I want this to be the simple message that you take away from today. And we're going to expand upon it over the next several weeks. But today, if there's nothing else you take away from this message today, it is this: God is all there is. That's it. And we are expressions of that. We are the flow, the function, the form of that divine presence and power. So everything in the relative, all of it, 100% of it, is the expression of God. All of it. Even the things that don't feel so good. I woke up to news yesterday that didn't feel so good. I'm sure there are plenty of people in Venezuela who are not feeling so good. And there are people who are feeling good. All of it, and this is the hard one to hear, all of it is divine expression. And I say it's hard to hear because we look at that event and we look at it as a challenge, I think some of us. And I want to be clear, like, I don't intend to, like, talk about the political nature of that event. But anytime that we utilize violence against our fellow human beings, we are in the wrong. We just fundamentally are in the wrong. That quilt is needed now more than ever. And I have talked to Joyce about what happens as well. Yes, it's going to remain up there, but at some point I think it will be important that we take this quilt down and we make it available so that members of this community can add their ideas to it. So we can write our acknowledgments of peace. Violence is never the answer. It just isn't. But it is a relative experience, and that expression of violence is still divine. It's a misuse of the divine power. And we can misuse the divine power. I'll tell you what, I have misused the divine power in my life a lot. But every single day is an opportunity to know, to grow, to learn something new, to allow myself to forgive everything, fundamental to our mission here, to forgive everything, to not keep dragging my past into my present. And so whatever has happened that has been a misuse of this divine presence and power in my own personal life, I am willing to let it go and trust and know that I can be proactive in the forward momentum and movement of my life. How about you? Are you willing to let go of all that stuff? You know the word that almost came out of my mouth. Are you willing to let go of all of that stuff? Woo! To know that we are not expressions of the relative, we are expressions of the absolute, we are expressions of the Most High, and to act accordingly. How do you choose to express? If we are all expressions of the one, how do you choose to express? because it is a choice. There are people who are making choices all around us. And we can either live in alignment with those choices, or we can choose not to live in alignment with those choices and then allow ourselves to act accordingly. For me, that's being proactive, to know that I am always in a place of choice because I am not bound. None of us is bound because God does not bind. You know, growing up, I actually had a pretty scary idea of what God was. Now, I say that with this in mind, that I didn't go to church. I didn't go to church growing up, but this idea of a scary God was still very prevalent in my society and in my culture, and I bought into it. I bought into it. There was, so when I was, I don't know, I must have been like 8, 9, 10, I don't know, my dad could probably tell me what years this was happening. But I used to go to California in the summers, like when I was off of school, and I would spend time with my aunts and uncles, and I would spend some time in Mendocino. First of all, Mendocino, I love Mendocino. Beautiful, right? But imagine me and my cousins, 3 boys at that age, back when, you know, I'm of a certain generation, Gen X, and we are considered a feral generation. And so, you know, we would go into town, and my cousin's mother would go to her job, and we would just be let loose to wander around Mendocino all day while she was at work. And I remember one summer, we all 3 of us, my 2 cousins and I, we found ourselves going into a vacation Bible camp. And it's just because it was something to do that was not, you know, going and wreaking havoc on the residents of Mendocino, hopped up on sugar because we always went to the candy store. But we went to this vacation Bible camp, and I think what really drew me to that experience is I liked to sing the songs. A lot of music there, and I liked to sing the songs, and I didn't really know what I was singing about, but it was real Jesus rah-rah, which I have absolutely no issue with whatsoever, except that, you know, I was being told an idea that I had to give over my own self-determination and will to that of something outside the self, this ineffable idea called Jesus, and that is the way that I was going to be saved. And I always walked away from that thinking, well, the songs are fun, but I don't really get that whole other part of it. I'm so grateful that I am in a philosophy now that understands and teaches and preaches the true message of Jesus. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Those, to me, are the fundamental teachings of Jesus. Love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Because what I learned about God from that experience in Mendocino, going to vacation Bible camp, was that God was not to be questioned. I was not to question anything I was hearing. And that God was a personality, a deity, a thing out there that was deeply invested in my life and the way in which I lived my life. And that from that investment, he, and it was a he, right? He doled out reward and punishment based on how I acted in life. Like Santa Claus. What have I come to believe in New Thought? Because I'll tell you, like I said, I did not grow up going to church. I had my own ideas about my spiritual relationship to the whole, and it really resonated with me the first time I stepped into a New Thought spiritual community. Because what was invited in that experience was this. As opposed to, it's not to be questioned, I was invited into this. Question everything. Question everything. Instead of God being a personality deeply invested in my life, I was invited into this. God is the principle of creation itself. It is not a personality, but something we personalize. And instead of believing or being invited to believe that God doles out reward and punishment based on how I act in my life. There is no reward, there is no punishment, except, he has a caveat, except in the manner of my use of this principle of creation. Reward and punishment come from the manner in which I choose to use this principle. If I choose to use the principle in a destructive or violent way, the most likely recipient of the adverse effects of that is not going to be anything outside the self, it is going to be me. That is how we define, it's funny because you brought this up, you said we don't use these words in New Thought, but we do use these words in New Thought sometimes. That is how we define sin, a misuse of the principle. Self-inflicted nonsense is what sin is. We are not punished for our sins. We are not punished for anything. The outflow of our lives is the result of everything we think, everything we believe, and everything we feel, rooted in the foundational principle, God is all there is. So how will we choose to use this principle today? We layer language on the unlimited, and thus we limit it in our own minds. And this ultimately can become self-defeating. And it happens in New Thought. We try to figure it all out, and we become so narrowly focused in the way we think it should be that we forget sometimes we should break it all down. Let it go. I don't know what I'm doing. We should break it all. Break it all down. Let go of what we think we know and approach life from a Buddhist perspective like that of a child. Live life from the point of childlike wonder. What an amazing universe we live in. If we are limiting our own minds, it ultimately becomes self-defeating. And the more we endeavor to unlimit, the greater our experience of divinity itself. Irrespective of what we have experienced or seen in the last couple days, I want you to know evil does not exist. Evil does not exist. There is no power called evil. There's only the power of creation. When it is misused, then we are empowering evil expression. But evil in and of itself is not a fundamental power. It does not exist. There's one thing that exists, the power of love. How will you choose to use it today? We empower love in thought. Right now, it's easy to see the evil behavior. And I struggled a lot yesterday. And I want to let you off the hook because I imagine there are many people who have struggled. I struggle too. I have challenges. But it is the power of new thought that have allowed me to gracefully grow through those perceptions of challenge. So, first things first. Let us consider that divine unfoldment does not require certainty. It requires courage. It requires coherence. And it requires consent. My invitation to each and every one of us is to move forward in life from this point and evermore, choosing presence over habit, letting go of the habits of ill-conceived notions of destruction and violence, and choosing the presence of love, choosing the presence of light, and choosing the presence of the divine in everything we think, everything we say, and in every way we behave. Peace and blessings. You are magnificent. Each week, I offer a life practice to support the message as it has been presented. And because we are going back to these fundamental basics, beginning with God is all there is, I want us to, here we go, begin each day by speaking aloud, God is absolute goodness, everywhere present and expressing as this day. You can take a picture of it. This will also be available on our website when we post the video of today's talk in the archive. And in addition to beginning each day with this idea, God is absolute goodness, everywhere present and expressing as this day, actively look in your life for 3 expressions of goodness and name them. Take some notes of your findings. Keep notes of your findings and see what you fill up on that page. I invite us all to relax right where we are. Opening up in this moment to see what kernel of an idea, what nugget of truth perhaps has resonated today, maybe more than anything else. Just one idea. Allow that idea to be firmly grounded and implanted in the heart space, knowing that this is a place where it becomes nurtured with our thoughts, nurtured with our beliefs, nurtured with our feelings, and can grow into its fullness in the expression of our lives. Just allowing ourselves to acknowledge this right here in this moment of stillness. Embrace the stillness.
Embrace the stillness.
Embrace the breath.
Embrace the breath.
Embrace the spirit.
Embrace the spirit
of love. Embrace the embrace the light. Embrace the power.
Embrace the power
of love. Let's just take this opportunity to reflect in a prayerful way, allowing ourselves to relax right where we are, opening up to this idea. There is God and absolutely nothing else. God, the universal creative intelligence. God, the power of creation. God, the omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence of all that is. God is all. And that's all there is truly to know. Rooted in this foundational idea, I hold firm in my resolve that we are, each and every one of us, aspects of this one power, one presence. We are the facets of the divine, shining forth, glittering forth as God. And everything we experience in our lives is the outflow of this divine creative source, divine creative energy. And as we choose, moment by moment, we are empowered to make our lives better, rooted in this foundational teaching. And so I trust and know, I hold firm in this, that we are choosing love only. We are choosing to forgive everything. That we are choosing to remember in every moment who we are, the truth of our being. We are that which is. Each and every one of us is the I am that I am. And so with gratitude and appreciation overflowing from within, I simply say yes. I simply allow. I simply live in this infinite flow and trust it to be so as I release this word, knowing it is the law and it flows forth as life. And I affirm it by saying, and so it is. Amen. Embrace the stillness.
Embrace the stillness.
Embrace the night.
Embrace the night.
the stillness.
Embrace the stillness.
Embrace the breath.
Embrace the breath.
Embrace the spirit.
Embrace the spirit
of love. I'm deeply grateful to you, for you. And I joked at a board meeting recently that this would be my birthday present to all of you. We're making a change in our Sunday celebration. Oh! Hey, he talked all about change and said that change is inevitable and that evolution is natural. Yes, we are making a change in our Sunday service. We're going to take a new approach to this section, which I'm sure some of us out there go, oh, here it comes. The passing of the basket is no more. And I want to acknowledge why this has come up. First of all, there is a trend that is happening in communities that is transforming the way we consider the notions of lack and abundance. And we are a blessed community. I want to acknowledge that first and foremost. We are a blessed community. And to pass the basket may be tacitly a call for us to think in terms of lack. And I don't want us to do that any longer. We are absolutely abundant. Each and every one of us. Every single one of us is abundant. And so rather than pass the baskets any longer, we're going to have them at the entrances. There are ways that you can give. Here we go, right? If you bring it up, there we go. You can still give in various ways. You can give in the bookstore. You can text Unity Tucson to 73256. You can scan the QR code. Those are ways to give electronically. You can still fill out check. You can still fill out the forms and put them on thing and put it into the baskets that are going to be at the entrances to the sanctuary. That, to me, is more honoring of who we are as a spiritual community, frankly. I remember the first few times I went into a spiritual community, and I really did. I braced myself when those baskets came through because I did not feel at that time abundant in my life. And I felt obligated, and I felt shame around giving. And that is not the energy that I want in our finances. And so I invite you to give with your heart. I invite you to still participate in the activity of giving, but know that it is your choice and it is not something that is thrust upon you by this community. And so please do still participate in giving. One of the things that we are going to introduce is we have a new abundance prayer that we're going to recite every single week. And it is going to be led by our prayer chaplains. And this week, our prayer chaplain to do just that is Mary Alls. And we're going to give her grace because this is the first time that we're doing this in service. So we're all going to work together to make this work. This is an abundance prayer that is an adaptation of something that was originally written by Lowell Fillmore. And so I invite you to take this to heart. The words will appear up here if we would like to say them together. Mary, if you would, please.
First of all, I want to say, I'm so excited. This is a beautiful abundance prayer and more than just our offering prayer. And I am excited. I hope you guys are too. So let's all say this together. I have the faith of the source as my instant and constant supply and supplier. I have the faith of the one to open when the human sense there seems to be no way. I have the faith of the infinite guide me in all ways. My health, happiness, and prosperity are assured. I am steeped in gratitude and appreciation for the abundant good now flowing forth, meeting my every need. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Mary. The prayer is written on the handout today, and we're going to get cards made up so that you can also take this prayer with you and you can utilize it in your everyday life. Just like we say, pray, do that affirmation every morning, pray every morning utilizing this prayer and see how it transforms your life. So there we are, a new change, something different here in service, and let's find out what else is happening here at Unity of Tucson.
Good morning, Unity of Tucson. It's January 4th, 2026. Happy birthday, Reverend Jonathan. And here's what's happening in our magnificent spiritual community. For 70 years, Unity of Tucson has been a beacon of love, spiritual growth, and community. Now it's time to celebrate. You're invited to our Platinum Gala, an elegant evening honoring 7 decades of spiritual life and shared purpose. Tickets are on sale now with limited seating available. Enjoy exquisite cuisine, a curated silent auction, a special commemorative presentation marking our history, and of course, dancing. Lots of dancing. Join us March 14th at Skyline Country Club as we honor the past and step boldly into a brilliant future. Are you ready to deepen your prayer life? Join Dr. Jonathan in person or via Zoom for Prayer Fundamentals, a 6-week course exploring the basics of affirmative prayer and activate its power in your life. Whether you are simply longing to grow spiritually or seeking to train as a prayer chaplain, this class is for you. Classes will meet Tuesdays 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. starting February 3rd. Sign up in the bookstore or online for only $120. Plan to stay with us after service on Sunday, February 1st for our annual membership meeting. It's a chance to celebrate our journey, hear what's unfolding, and take part in shaping our evolution as a spiritual cooperative. Your presence matters, so please join us. Active members of Unity of Tucson should have received their membership renewal request by email. If you've already responded, thank you. If you haven't yet, please watch for a reminder email coming this week. And if you're an active member who did not receive the email, please contact the office so we may assist you. Responses must be received by January 15th in order to be eligible to vote in the annual membership meeting. Thank you so much for your commitment to Unity of Tucson. Unity of Tucson welcomes Elizabeth Quinn Worrell back to the Galleria Sagrada. Elizabeth's paintings showcase her talent for blending divergent media into surprising, whimsical celebrations of light and color. Here's your chance to support a truly imaginative artist while supporting Unity of Tucson. Today is Sunday Potluck. Enjoy a delightful brunch with your spiritual community. Events, classes, connection. To find out more, swing by our community alcove located next to the Desert Light Book and Gift Store, or refer to the weekly printed flyer available in the lobby or explore online at unitytucson.com. Make your week magnificent.
Yes, make your week magnificent. It is also the first Sunday of the month, and on the first Sunday of the month, of course, we celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. As you were coming in, you may have been asked if you were celebrating a birthday or an anniversary during the month of January, and if so, you would have been invited to fill out a little ballot that informs us how we may choose to give some of our good out back to the world. And so if you did not receive that ballot, please know that you can still fill it out at the completion of the celebration today. They'll be in Harmony Hall, and we'll do the drawing in Harmony Hall for that. But we would love to acknowledge and sing happy birthday to everyone who is celebrating. So if you are celebrating a birthday, raise your hand or stand up and let us sing to you, shall we? Welcome. Let's sing together. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Glorious. Well, here to tell us about what the kids were up to today, please welcome Dee Brady. Hi, Dee. How are you doing? Hi. You can come over here. Yeah. You can stand center stage, just like...
Well, one thing I love, and this happens often, and you don't even know it happens, but when I pick a theme for the month, it aligns with your theme.
Always.
So as I was walking in, they hand me a card, and I went, okay, that's what we're doing too. And we don't talk about it. So I love that we're so aligned. But today we read a book called God is Everywhere. And so we talked about how we set our sights on seeing the beauty of the world. And through a child's eyes, I'm so grateful that I get to look at the world through their eyes. Because as we read to each other, they share things with me that I didn't even think about. So we have a great book today. Brielle, do we shine everywhere? Yeah. Shine, shine. So she was singing a song, and she kept saying, shine, shine. So it was really beautiful. So shine everywhere.
We will. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who made today's celebration so extraordinary. I want to say thank you to our Keepers of the Flames today, Deb Benson and Lynn Peterson. I want to say thank you to Beryl Varnell for guiding us with reading in the affirmation and also in prayer. Also to Mary Alls guiding us in our new abundance consciousness prayer. Thank you so much. Mary and Beryl will be available at the completion of the celebration here in the sanctuary. If you would like a moment of prayer with them, please do seek them out. Prayer is fundamentally what we do, and there are many ways to engage with our prayer consciousness. So please take advantage of our prayer chaplains. I want to say thank you to everyone in the bookstore, led by our magnificent Carrymon. I want to say thank you to guiding us in hospitality today, the Prism Alliance, not the Prison Alliance, but the Prism Alliance, our LGBTQIA affirming group here, who always help with our potluck every single first Sunday of the month. And I want to say thank you to all of our greeters, our ushers, our technical team. My dad, Don, back there, who was also there 53 years ago. My dad, Don, Rowan, and Aiden, Gavin. And I want to say thank you to Sherry Hoffman. And I want to say thank you to Tyler Pierce, because we don't thank Tyler enough, our operations manager. I want to say thank you to an extraordinary music team, Paul and Raphael and Linda. Thank you so much. And let's hear it, of course, for our glorious Aaron Anderson for guiding us in our featured song today. And so let us share this prayer of divine awareness, which will guide us into our final song today. Let's say this together. I am infinite light. I am infinite love. I am infinite power. I am infinite presence. Wherever God is, I am. Wherever I am, God is. And so it is. Amen. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. People done gone crazy. People done gone mad. People done forgot the superpowers we all have. We were born to love, not hate. We can decide our fate. Look for the good in everyone and celebrate all our mistakes. There's a silver lining. Silver lining. You still have to find it, find it, find it. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone needs sunshine. Everyone needs rain. Everyone is carrying around some kind of pain. I see who you are. You're just like me. I see you searching for a purpose, guided by a dream. I see who you are. I'm just like you. I get lost sometimes and I forget what I came here to do. I keep on trying when it gets frightening. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good. Look for the good. Look for the good in everyone. Make it a magnificent week, everyone.